You're listening to World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world. And here are your hosts, Aingeal Rose and Ahonu.
Hi, I am Ahonu, and this is my lovely Aingeal Rose. We have a very interesting podcast for you today. We went into the records on the last day of 2020. Many people were wishing for this day over the last 12 months and really couldn't wait to get to the end of it. And we decided to go into the Akashic Records, ask Source about what was going on and questions about the future. And let's have a listen to the questions, and then we'll have a listen to the full program. Aingeal Rose, I have to say, I am delighted that she is here to help us arrive at clarity around a lot of these issues.
Yes, as always, we always ask Source whenever we're in confusion about anything, and certainly this last year with everything that's gone on has led to depression and confusion for many people. And we wanted clarity, and even ourselves have gone through our own little periods of lack of clarity, haven't we, Ahonu? And we really needed some inspiration by Source, or at least an explanation. And it gave it to us in the pure love that Source is. So we hope you enjoy this, and do enter your comments or write us if you have any questions. And we look forward to, now we have a whole new vision of what's going on with the earth and this world. Thank you.
The questions we asked were, what does Source have to say about 2021? How does it look for humanity in 2021? How real is the coronavirus, and is it valid or invalid? Is it safe to live in the United States in 2021? And if not, where is safe? Is 5G related to COVID-19? And the final question was, what is the right way to look at the world?
So the first thing I'm seeing when we open the records is purple light. And with purple light comes suffering. But the feeling I have about it is that humanity still hasn't learned to let go of suffering. This is the energy that's up right now for the planet, is the whole idea of suffering, the whole belief in suffering, and that we haven't released the idea and the belief in suffering. And that's what we're being asked to do. So that's the state of play at the particular moment with humanity. That's what I'm getting initially.
Okay, let's start with our first question. What does Source have to say about 2021?
So I'm seeing a lot of emerald green, which is the color of healing. And what I'm feeling is there needs to be a concerted effort on the part of people to want to move into healing. That we still have a lot of old beliefs to heal, but the emerald green light is available for us if we choose to ask it to come in and help heal us. I'm also seeing yellow, which means that we'll have periods of enlightenment go on this year. And that feels like that's coming from the cosmos, that we'll have a burst of enlightenment that'll come in for us this year. So we still might see a lot of struggle in the beginning of the year, in the early months, because people are still in that frame of mind of suffering, like I mentioned. But I feel like some things are going to happen this year that are going to turn the tides or make some things better. And certainly that's the will of the universe, because I'm seeing spring into summer, sunshine shining on us, which to me feels like positive energy, positive growth. So there's a great potential this year for a lot of clearing, a lot of healing, help from the universe in terms of downloads of information or bursts of awareness. That looks very positive to me. So Christmas next year should be a celebration And indeed, people really do need to move into the spirit of celebration. Celebration of life, celebration of the beauty of the planet, celebration of each other, as opposed to living in a mindset where we're not celebrating, we're looking at more suffering, more sickness, focusing our attention on that. And we really need to move instead into an awareness of how much there is on this beautiful earth to celebrate.
I'm finding that turning of the tide that you mentioned has a lot to do with male and female energy. And it's like as if we've been in this domination of male, bullish, brutish kind of warlike energy for thousands of years, and that the tide that is turning is like as if there's the divine feminine, while it has been attempted to be crushed and squashed, and it's like as if there are snippets of wisdom that are coming out from women, from females, and from the feminine aspect of the earth that are going to help bring sense and balance the energies and perform a kind of an equality of the sexes. And I think it may even spill over into the races also, that there won't be as much of this racism and this them and us kind of division and barriers and walls and divisions and all of that as what we have seen in the past. I feel that a lot of those are going to be broken down, but it'll be motivated or initiated. Perhaps already it has been initiated a long time ago by the divine feminine, but we're going to be seeing it play its part. That's what I'm feeling.
I'm also feeling that we are moving into a new earth that feels very happy, feels very bright and calm and positive. So this is where we're headed cosmically, whether we like it or not. So it feels like the more we can all move into that and accept it, the better we'll all be. But for those who want to hang on to the old paradigm of sickness and death, that's probably what they'll experience.
Okay, our next question. How does it look for humanity in 2021? We may have answered that somewhat, but I think this question is coming from perhaps an economic perspective, or even from like what's the next step for humankind, or if there is a depopulation attempt, as some people do perceive, what's the future for humanity like?
Well, I have already addressed it, but Source wants to remind us that it loves every being, that it's all-inclusive. So when we talk about depopulating the planet, that's not Source's will. Source has no will to depopulate the planet. Humanity itself, like I say, it just determines what they do with their consciousness. This really is a time to be shifting your consciousness completely out of the old and into the new earth, where everything is welcome. There's abundance for everybody. We're kind of unified on a common goal that we all need to help humanity. The Source is saying, part of the problem is not that there's so many people. It's that we don't share. We don't help others. We're not really treating humans on the planet as the sisters and brothers that they really are. So there needs to be a collective shift in terms of how we see humanity. Are we looking at humanity as too many people who are opposing us, who are taking our resources? We need to look at humanity as part of the living, breathing system of the earth. So our consciousness has to change to a mindset that is focused on beauty and abundance for everybody. And there's plenty of ways we can do that. There's plenty of ways we can share, is what Source is saying. And that's what the new earth is like. It's not this, we have to keep things for ourselves, we have to separate out, hoard things, none of that competition stuff. It's the fact that everybody is important to God and everybody is loved by God. In fact, all life is loved by God, and that's what we need to get.
So as is always the case with these Akashic Record sessions, when we ask one question, it tends to collapse a lot of the other questions behind it. And one question that was in the lineup was, what is the right way to look at the world? And you seem to have identified it and brought it down into one sentence, that it is to serve others and to make other people's lives easier and to love one another as equals, as brothers and sisters. Would that be the answer to that question? What is the right way to look at the world?
That's part of it. But part of the intention behind that question was, what's the purpose of the world, really? And what I'm hearing Source saying is that the purpose of all life is beauty, and appreciating beauty and celebrating beauty and nurturing beauty and love. So the purpose of anywhere, no matter where you are, is that. It's not that one place is a bad place to be and another place is a good place to be. It's that wherever there is life, it's to be valued and appreciated. That's really an add-on to what I had already said about how humans should be treating each other. But the purpose of the world is the expression of love and beauty. And that's the purpose of anywhere.
Our next question has to do with the coronavirus. Is it valid or invalid? And how real is it?
Well, what I hear Source saying is Source isn't really wanting to use the word virus. What it's saying is that this is really part of the disruption of what's going on with the planet right now. A lot of the sickness people are getting is really coming up from earthquakes and cracks in the earth and environmental bacterias. So I'm not getting that this virus, and we're not denying that a virus could have been created in a laboratory. Viruses are created in laboratories all the time. But in terms of this question, the cause of people being ill now is not really a virus. It is a disruption in the energies of the earth. So we have to understand that the earth is shifting physically. She's got plates moving. She's got earthquakes happening. She's got openings in the earth happening. She's got methane gas buildup underneath. She's got polluted waters, ice caps melting, and all of these are releasing old viruses and bacterias. So a lot of what people are getting is really things that are moving on the earth that have been here for a long time, but not necessarily have surfaced. So they're putting less importance on what could have been created in a lab. And even talking about a mutant strain, that's similar to how the flu changes every year. So Source is not calling, it's almost like it doesn't even want to use the word COVID-19. It's more about people's vulnerabilities to the environment. And that's really what all it wants to say about it.
Okay. In terms of the current volatility in the political system in the United States and the uncertainty about the future, is it safe to live in the USA in 2021? And if not, where is safe?
Source is saying anywhere is safe if you're in the right consciousness. It's almost like it's showing me two distinct realities. It's basically saying there's an unsafe United States and there's a totally safe United States. And where is your consciousness? After just gone telling us how we have to shift our minds over to expressing beauty and love everywhere and coming into unity with one another, that consciousness is safety. But if you're going to stay in a consciousness that is going to be disruptive and separatist, then you're not safe. And that's true no matter where you are. You could move to the most peaceful place and get clobbered by a building or a piece of wood if your consciousness is contrary, let's just say. So is the United States safe? Yes, it is, but look for beauty and love everywhere. And don't be focusing on suffering.
Our next question is about 5G, and it's also about COVID-19. Is 5G related to COVID-19?
Well, those frequencies disrupt the immune system. And we just got done talking about how certain people are vulnerable to their environment and to what's going on with the earth and things that are being released from the earth. And 5G, it's not directly related. In other words, it's not causing illness, but what it does do is break down the immune system. And it also interferes with the brain waves of people. So it has its own side effects that wreak havoc and exasperate the problem. Let's put it that way.
There's a question about the planetary lineups that we witnessed in 2020, the convergence and 13 full moons in the year, and what else was there? The Uluru celebrations on the winter solstice and various other events that happened throughout 2020. And the question is about, is there things like that that will also line up and happen in 2021? Or have we gone through what needs to be gone through to affect this new earth?
No, as I mentioned, we still have not gotten out of the suffering consciousness that we've been dragging along with us for centuries. So we still have a lot of healing to do around that. But I also said that there were bursts of light and energies that were coming in that would cause spontaneous enlightenments in people. So that's going to be going on this year. So you're still going to have process, let's just say, between the cosmic energies and what has to be cleared off the planet. We're still in this process, but what I was saying is that by the summer that we should have seen some significant positive changes. I hope I answered that question.
You did. And as always, you answered all of them so eloquently and so beautiful. It does bring us to the end of our session today.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that. That stirred us up. I'm sure it's going to stir you up too, some of those answers.
Yes, it really cleared up for us where to put our energy and where not to. So,
absolutely.
So here we are, and we hope it's helped you gain some clarity as well.
Until next time.
Take care and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You have been listening to Aingeal Rose and Ahonu on World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world.